Well, good morning. We're going to go ahead and kick off our very first 2026 budget presentations. Today, we're going to hear from Veterans Affairs, the County Auditor, and the County Recorder. And I'm going to turn things over to Frank for a moment.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once all the budget presentations are done, I'll give a comprehensive overview of where we're at and kind of how we got through this process, but I wanted to let all the departments and offices first come in, present their budgets. I will have recommendations for you, and then afterwards we can work through all that and discuss it. But I can't give enough credit to Deb and her team, Dominic, but all the departments did such a good job. We've really had developed a focus on accountability and efficiency, and that included a 1% reduction, and everyone participated in that. They identified some expenses, some redundancies that they could remove that we will recognize and realize cost savings improvements. We reduced the number of decision packages that we've seen historically. So there was just a great deal of due diligence done by everyone, and I can't say enough about the job they did. And that is without removing all the key initiatives that this board's going to want to see. That's with factoring in, the tax levy that will be recommended to be reduced. It will maintain all the service. It will include economic development opportunities. But again, I'll give a comprehensive overview when it's the board's turn to present. Deb and I will present. But with that, I'd turn over to Vet Affairs. And again, they were a perfect example of finding some expenses, not asking for anything in addition, understanding that there are some financial constraints, and we want to be able to retain and pay our employees and provide the great services to this community. So
that's great. So we recognize Pat Sweeney, Director of Veterans Affairs.
Thanks, sir. Pat Sweeney, Executive Director, Polk County Veterans Affairs. The first slide there that I have up, I'd just like to show you that we did a wrap for the bus that was used at this during the fair. So we used some of our grant funds that we got from the state of Iowa that is supposed to be used for outreach events and things like that for the department. So we used some of that money to do a wrap on the bus that they used for the fair last year. So we'll probably try to do that again this year.
Looks good.
Yeah. Currently, our budget is at $2,027,000. Our request for the next year is $2,057,000. We did reach our 1% reduction. We were able to put $18,000 to make that request. So, any questions there?
How did you come to the 18, or how did you come to the 18,000?
So what we were able to do was reduce some of the line items in our operation budget.
Okay.
And it didn't affect us too much. One of the things I've done the last 5 years with the budget that I put together, or 6 years now, this would be my 7th budget, is that we've always come in under budget. Usually we have expended about, my lowest was 89% one year. The closest I ever came to 100%, I was at 96, I think 0.4%. So we've always come in under budget. But to let you know, and I'll talk about that more too, is that's under no way have we reduced our services to veterans. That's the number one most important thing that you need to know. Even though our budget has been adjusted by 1%, the services for veterans is not going to be hurt by this. And I'll let you know up front, if I see during the year that we're going to be hurting as far as the budget, as far as taking care of veterans, I will come back and talk to you. So I don't know if you say yes, but I'll let you know and let you know. But services towards veterans will not be affected.
Great.
All right. Next slide is we have a $10,000 we get in revenue, but we also get donations during the year. We'll probably get, I don't know if I'll make the $2,500 through the next year, but we do get donations from American Legion, some local charities that give us money that we use towards veterans too. So we might end up with $2,500 by the end of the year, but most of our revenue, all our revenue really comes from the county. So the expenses there, as you can see, our reduction, our decrease was in the general relief-based utilization, also in supplies and training, like I talked about earlier. That's how we got to the 18,000. We did hit our target of 1% that was asked of us, but as I talked about earlier, that services for veterans will not be affected by this. I'll monitor that through the year. Our staff turnovers, got a steady staff, had one staff retire 4 years ago. We did add a new staff last year, which was a general assistant case manager, which has really helped our operations of our department. It's allowed me to take the general services work away from our veteran service officers who do the claim work for veterans. So I was able to divide that up, and it's been a nice switch for us to do that, to have our veteran service officers basically do strictly claim work for the veterans.
Pat, do they help with all like the case management stuff that general services or community and family over there do? And
Yes, ma'am. We do a lot of back and forth with them. So as you probably know through your years here, since you have a few, when someone comes through like general assistants down the hall from us and they check the intake box veterans, they come up the hall to us for us to take care of. And I have a person now that strictly does general assistance. And they have a nice rapport with the general assistants down there, because you can get into a situation where we have someone who's divorced from a veteran, but they have a couple of kids at home. We will take care of the kids portion of maybe rent, but the divorced spouse has to go to general assistance, so it's a back and forth. And I've worked that out with Eric Cool, where if the divorced spouse comes in the GA first, they will take care of that spouse first, then bring them down to us, and we'll take care of the kids portion. It's kind of a quirky work, but we work it out between us.
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Recent accomplishments, we sponsored 20 veterans that received lunch deliveries through Wesley Life and Meals. We started that this year. That picture on the right, I got to go out one day and deliver meals to veterans. There was a veteran I got to deliver a meal to. So we have 20 that we take care of currently. They have more than that, but we get to take care of 20 out of our budget for that. Might look to try to increase that if I can work around that, but it's a nice way for us to do some outreach with veterans too. They also deliver some of our pamphlets to the veterans, so they know what services we have. So it's a nice piece there. One of the other nice things that we've done in the past, recent accomplishments in the last year, is that I've dedicated one VSO that goes out. We probably average 4 times a week. We do the jail visit in the morning in person. We had a kite system, they called it, where the messages went back and forth, and we used that for a number of years since COVID. But now we've flipped back to having a VSO actually go out and visit out at the jail, and it really has helped with that coordination between if a veteran gets in jail. Not so much on the claim side, more on the piece as if they're in jail, they need their prescriptions, we can connect them with the federal VA hospital up the street liaison person who will get their prescriptions to that veteran in the jail, which helps a lot of things because it helps the sheriff's budget, because then they don't have to provide the prescriptions for that veteran. The VA's providing it. So it's a good continuity there for the jail. So that's been good work for the year. The third piece there is we're on our fifth annual coat drive that you guys sponsor every year. It's just a wonderful activity. I know a few of you have come down and visited. It's probably one of the best feel-good events of the year that we do for veterans and their families. It's just a wonderful activity, and greatly appreciate the support that the board does for that. Upcoming opportunities. We're going to continue with the food pantry for sure, the monthly second Tuesday. Hopefully one of the Tuesdays that doesn't land on the Board of Supervisors meeting, I get some of you down to help us sling some food. But it's a good activity. We have cars lined up around the parking lot, and it's very well utilized. The other thing we'll do is the second bullet point there is keep developing the river case management system with IT. I can't emphasize enough the assistance we've had from IT. Drew Randall, our person that we connect with there. The case management system, the river, has just been a wonderful opportunity for us to use our scheduling. We are very schedulally oriented in the office because we are so busy that we have to run a schedule, and that river IT system is just fabulous as far as the case management, being able to look at veterans who've come in a couple of weeks before, to look at the connection between what case notes are in there, what documents have they dropped off, what documents do we need to keep the veteran taken care of in that system, and we couldn't do it without that river system. It is fabulous. I can't talk enough great things about how they support us down there. The third thing there is, as I talked about earlier, I'd like to maybe increase by 10, maybe how many people we support, veterans we support for the Meals on Wheels program. I'll see how that works out, but I'll work on that. As usual.
What's the cost on,
Oh,
do you know roughly?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I can get that for you. It's the same cost as Eric has.
Yeah, do you know how many veterans would take advantage of the Meals on Wheels if there were more dollars?
So my conversation with Shannon Dreyer over at Meals on Wheels, all veterans are taken care of. So what we're taking care of is 20 of the last count I had was 81. The rest of them are supported by private funding that they receive, that the private funders specifically want to support veterans. Okay. So my last conversation with her, there is no veterans that they don't have a list that, like, veterans that don't get a meal. It's just that we're doing 20 out of 81.
That are budgeted.
Yeah, and there is private donors that specifically donate money for Meals on Wheels that they want going towards veterans. It's the same thing with the food bank food that we get. F&G Annuities, an insurance company here in Des Moines, wanted to donate money to the food bank, but they wanted specifically going towards veterans. So the food bank asked me, can they use that money to pay for the food that comes on Tuesday to our food drive, our second Tuesday? I said, sure. You know, so there is kind of, that's more on the backside of it, you know, but
Sure.
It's the same thing with Wesley Meals on Wheels. It's not that there's veterans not getting a meal because there's no one supporting it. It's just that we're doing 20 out of 81 was the last count I had.
Thank you.
Yep. Long-term goals there, I've had a couple of these on here for a while. Honor flight is always on my list. I'm always kind of working on that one. That's kind of a back and forth. Move the World War I monument that's up by Carver on University there, by Unity Point Methodist up there. That's always been kind of in the works. That's moving that monument take about $100,000, so that's kind of the hurdle there. But there's a place, Des Moines Cemetery, Laurel Hill has a specific area for veterans over at Laurel Hill, the cemetery behind the fairgrounds, and they have a place where they would love to put that World War I monument there at the cemetery. I think it'd be a good fit, but I'll still work on that. The third item there, I put that down there, and then I'll go into my next two things, is Polk County Veterans Affairs. On our window there, you can't really see it, but on the right, it says, with dignity and respect. That's how we treat everybody that comes in the door. And I can't emphasize that enough. That is what we do. And it's not on the slide there, but I'll go on to a couple of things here. I have to tell a story. That's the way it works. So, you know, a couple of things that we do at the Veterans Affairs offices. One, we do general assistance. We know that. Second thing we do is we do federal claims for veterans. One of, a general assistance story that I can give you is something a widow who lives in a modular home, late 60s, takes care of her mother, who was 91, I think. So her and her mother in there, she's a widow. Her husband passed away. He worked at Firestone for 34 years. Doesn't have much of anything. Lives off Social Security. Very tight budget. 90% of her budget goes towards the rent, the lot rent, and food for her and her mom. Car broke down, some other things happened, got behind on rent. Came into us, talked to her on the phone, got her in, took care of her, got her up to date, everything was fine, and it's just amazing how one thing can make someone have a hard time. She talked to me afterwards, was just bawling. She never knew any of this assistance was available. She said her husband worked for 37 years at Firestone. They always paid their bills, always had money, did fine. She said, I never knew any of this stuff in the community could come and support us. So we got her down the hall to Sup Foods. She was just like, I'm amazed, this is great. We're low on food. Told her about the Tuesday drive-through. She said, my cars are running, I'm coming through on Tuesday. It's just extraordinary how much you can lift someone up. It really is. And we do that every day. And, that's a GA story. On the claim side, very interesting, pretty standard, not a standard story, but something that we usually do a lot is, this is really the length of time that it takes to take care of a veteran. We had a Vietnam veteran, born in 1945, 80 years old, coming in last June, never ever knew anything about the VA. Came in with his son who brought him in. His son is 24 years in the Air Force, was back on leave. His son brought him in to see us. We got his dad started. The wife brought him in a couple times. She's a retired nurse. Got him started, and so as of yesterday, we're on meeting number 6. We did get him taken care of. We got some more work to do with them, but it just goes to show the length of time that it can take to do a claim. He is service connected to a certain percentage now, but we're working on some more. So, we started in June and we're in January, and we're on meeting number 6 with them. I know 3 of them were in person and 3 were over the phone. So it just takes a long time to get some of this work done. And why I emphasize that is just to show it's not a one and done activity. When we have someone come in for a claim, it's not like we talk to them for 45 minutes and it's like, see you later and everything's done. It's a constant back and forth. Another one I have is very interesting. Started in 2015 with this Vietnam vet, and we're still working with him. He's not quite 100% service connected yet, but he's at 90%. But we started in 2015, was our first contact with him, and we're gonna have a meeting with him tomorrow. I mean, that's a long time. That's a long time. This is a long time to stay in contact with somebody, keep the process going, doing an appeal, not giving up, because you get that a lot too. They want to give up. You gotta be a cheerleader in some ways to pump them up, to say, no, we're not giving up. We're going to do an appeal. We know you got the first exam didn't do well. We're going to do an appeal and go to another exam. I mean, it's a constant back and forth. So why I talk about this piece of it is just to know that the length of time that it takes, that the employees and the staff that I have the opportunity to lead is incredible. They do incredible work, and we couldn't do it without you guys. And I was thinking about it this morning when I was sipping coffee. I was thinking, it really goes to show we get to do the boots on the ground down there at River Place. We do some good work down there. You guys all know that. You guys all support us. But it really goes to show is, the quote is, or the saying is, don't tell me your priorities, show me your budget, and I'll tell you your priorities. You guys do that. it's you guys that your budget supports us. And that's anybody in Polk County that I can talk to, and I do it quite frequently. You know, I tell them, Board of Supervisors provides a budget that helps us support veterans. So, you know, if anything goes out today, you can hang your hat on that you guys support veterans. And I applaud you for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Yep.
Pat, Veterans Affairs is, you know, by far one of the greatest services that I think Polk County does. How many veterans do you think you serve in a year, off the top of your hat, do you know? That just walk through the door, you know, that are, I know that people come in that are homeless off the street, that you help. I know you do more than those claims every day.
Yeah.
And I know that because of what General Assistance does now, I think that's a great connection.
Mm-hmm.
You guys hired somebody like that to do actual case management for these folks. Find them apartments, find them places to live. I know you've taken them to doctor's appointments. You go way beyond
Yeah.
what we do for our veterans, which is awesome. So just in a year's time, how many people do you think you serve?
It's probably well into the 4,000 or 5,000 or more. I mean, you know, as you said, there's things that don't get put on the books.
Right,
I
I
mean,
know.
you know, mowing lawns, moving furniture, whatever.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes, you know, and you've been a great supporter of that, you know. Your brother Nick, who was there when I got there, we did the same thing. It was, you know, get in our car and drive to someone's house, knock on the door. Hey, what's going on? You need some help? You know, I mean, yeah, that's what it takes.
It's a wonderful service, and Polk County should be proud.
Yeah, you guys should be. And you know, and the budget shows it. I mean, it really is. There's other counties in Iowa, not even close. The logo leading the way, we're doing it. And with your guys' help, that's for sure. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
County Administrator recommendations.
Nice job, Director Sweeney. You're such a great example of public service. As I look through areas to reduce our expenses, and I worked with you as a board, you made it clear that the service to the vets was not on the table. And so this budget continues to fund all those services. He complied with the 1% reduction without sacrificing any of those services. So I approve it as presented.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we're going to hear from Julie Haggerty, our elected county recorder, who is going to go through the recorder budget with us.
I want to first of all say I've had citizens come to my office, and I've sent them to the VA, Polk County VA, and that office is awesome. They take care of them, and I have had personal experience with the Polk County VA as well with my dad, and beyond measure, they're wonderful. I just want to comment on that.
Thanks, Julie.
Where do I go? This one? Oh, there's my picture right there.
If you go left too, she can help you.
So do I do that one? Okay. Okay. The Recorder's Office is an essential component to the economy because of the importance of timely filings related to real estate transactions and the record keeping of real estate and vital record of human events. Revenue from recording fees increased 11% during the first quarter of this fiscal year compared to the same quarter as last year. Bringing a little bit of hope that the housing market will swing into a more positive direction with the promise of lower mortgage interest rates. Almost 70% of our filings are recorded through electronic submission. Real estate brokers, attorneys, bankers, and other stakeholders still rely on the abstract companies making that final search and the expectation that those real estate documents will be recorded on the same day they are received in our office. We are one of 2 abstract states in the country, and our office provides up-to-the-minute filings on our website. The real estate community can rely on our records to be complete, accurate, and pristine. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the board for always providing me with the resources needed to deliver these services. For each of the last 19 years, we have served the citizens of Polk County while remaining self-sustained. We have always kept within the constraints of our budget and ended each year under target. I credit my staff for their superb customer service and stepping up when needed. None of this could happen without your support, and is always very much appreciated. Budget summary is basically, our revenue for the current budget year is at $3,315,000. I have just done an update on that, and we project those numbers to be like $3,429,000 because of the 11% increase in the first quarter. We have met in our budget the 1% reduction, and that is $24,000. Our revenue increase for the current budget, 26-27, is $397,000. The increase in recording fees and documentary stamps based on the current trend was increased. Miscellaneous adjustments was increased by $7,000, and we decreased passport fees due to decline in international travel. But we have tried to increase our number of appointments for passports to increase that cost, or fee, revenue, I guess, I'm sorry. Our expense request was increased by $77,000. That was mostly personal services. 93% of our budget is personal services. We've made some miscellaneous adjustments of $7,000 that are services that we could probably put aside until next year. This is not in perpetuity, hopefully. We found $17,000 by allocating a salary of the technology system specialist. The fund management, records management is Fund 21, which is a fund that is separate from the general fund, which helps us pay for technology advancements in the recorder's office. That also would not, we would ask that that's not in perpetuity. These are the full-time positions in my office that have been the turnover rate, which shows that it's 5 resigned and 2 retired.
So of the turnover rate, there were 2 retirements in this past fiscal year.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think, is that fiscal year on there? It's two different years, but we did lose, I have lost 2 this year as well.
Okay.
I wanted to say that $24,000, it seems like a small amount, even though there's 93% of our budget is personal services. And after reviewing expenditures line by line item, I was able to reduce base expenses by that $7,000. But I wanted to make note that those are services that one of them is bookbinding, which obviously we don't really do a lot of. But if any of those books downstairs in the archives need to be fixed or repaired, that would be, it's costly. So we can hold those off till maybe another fiscal year. But that's where we found the line items to cut. Okay. Upcoming opportunities and considerations. Did I go too far?
Recent accomplishments.
Yeah.
Next.
Did I go far?
Taylor, can you back her up one?
Yeah, can I back up just one?
Yeah.
You want to stand here?
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Oh, wow, yeah. There we go. Recent accomplishments. Okay, there we go. Okay, recent accomplishments. Although we are an abstract state, late-night commercials and events from other states have raised concern about the potential for property fraud by allowing someone to steal property by recording a fraudulent deed. This year, our office installed property check software that helps protect constituents from potential property fraud by alerting them of something that's recorded on a property in their name. This is a software that has been implemented in our office, and it's free of charge for them to sign up for. It's only by their name only, but it is available. We have added additional appointment times for passport applications, which would increase revenue.
Julie, is the time frame still the same on getting passports, or you still gotta go through that rigmarole?
It is, the passport is better. It's about 6 weeks still, but you can, as you know, a lot of people can make it go faster by charging $65, but that's the state, all of that is through the U.S. State, Department of State.
Right, but we can still come down there and,
Absolutely, and I just want you to know that we have increased the number of appointments, but we have also, if someone comes in, if they're well-prepared and they have all the information that they need and they don't have an appointment, and we have a passport agent available, we will try to take care of them if we don't have, if we have the time. So we try not to send too many people away.
people ought to really understand that. They don't have to go to the post office anymore. They can come right down to your office.
Well, not only that, they don't have to go to the post office, but they can bring a family. Usually that's what we get in our office is families of 5, because the post office will only take 2 at a time, I think.
Okay.
I think that is the case, 2 at a time. So a lot of it is that if there's families, and it does get out and about that we will take them without an appointment, but we can't always do that. But if we do have the time available, we will. We try not to turn anybody away.
Good service.
I appreciate that.
Since we're paused, I asked for clarification. I didn't understand the line about the 17% of salary allocated in Fund 21.
Fund 21 is a records management fund that is specifically for the recorder in the Code of Iowa. And I meant to write that code number down, I didn't, I don't know it off the top of my head. But basically, $1 of everything that is recorded in our office, out of the first, there's $2 extra on the first page. And that money goes to, one of the dollars goes to support Iowa land records, the other dollar goes to support records management, which is every county has a record management fund, it's Fund 21. That money is used for only to support technological advances or anything related to technology. And we were able to do that because the person's salary that we were allocating to that fund is the technology person in our office.
Thank you for
Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
And that fund, I mean, obviously, that fund is to be used when we have to update our software, we have to make some changes, and as everyone here knows, we have an IT department that will tell you how expensive updating or changing software is. So we try to keep that money available. Did I do it again? Did I do it again?
You got a fat finger or what?
No, I don't. Do I?
Fast finger, fast.
Yeah, I may click on the right. No? Okay. Okay, that's better. Would you just sit there? Oh, I used to be cute. Okay, upcoming opportunities and considerations. Near term, the Iowa County Recorders Association is seeking legislative authority to increase user fees. Passage of the modernization bill, increasing filer user fees to recorders, are projected to positively impact revenues to every county in the state. The Polk County Recorder's Office revenues are estimated to be increased by over $725,000 per year, and these are based on the 2023 data of filings that we did. So we're really working towards that. We ask that the board will support this bill when it is proposed at the beginning of this, well, shortly. And we also would like to research grants that would enable our office to provide online access to records that are prior to 1992, which we are not at the current time. In the long term, we want to provide older records prior to 1992, which established our online presence to easier and free access to the general public. Okay.
Just on that note, just for the board's understanding, we did meet with Amy Campbell, and it is one of our legislative priorities to support the increase, because it has been now since 1992, since
About 40 years since our fees have been,
40 years since
basic fees have been
gone
increased.
up. So we have made it a board priority to try to help pass the bill and to strategize around it.
I would also like to point out that probably 75% of what we do well, I don't know. Some of the things that we do are state mandated. That aren't funded by the state. They take about 75% of the money that we collect for them. And so I just want to point that out because they're the ones that have kind of put the kibosh on this increase, which is just a user fee increase. So, which would help a lot of people in a lot of ways, a lot of counties to provide other services that are needed.
And the Recorders Association statewide has taken a position in support of this legislation and has been actively
pursuing it
Yeah.
for years, but last year it didn't pass as well, and it was brought up last year.
Right.
So hopefully we will make them understand a little bit better, especially since they are looking for money too.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't believe so. Recommendations from the county administrator?
Yeah, Recorder Haggerty does such a good job generating revenue to offset her expense. So essentially, there's zero impact to the net tax balance utilization, complied with the 1% reduction in General Fund 1, so I would approve it as presented.
Great. Julie, you run a good office,
Thank you.
great results on turnover, and I constantly hear good things about anybody that interacts with your office. So thank you
I appreciate that.
for your staff as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your support throughout the years too. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
And I'm sorry that I can't run your little clicker.
Oh, you're fine. And now we're going to hear from our elected county auditor, Jamie Fitzgerald.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. As you can see in our picture we selected, that's our new county election office that you provided us with. It has the voters in mind. You'll see a lot of the spaces got smaller for staff. The area for walking into voting, along with the voting booth area, has got bigger. Along with, on the side, you can't see it, but there's a drop box where your ballot goes into a fireproof room. So if there's ever any catastrophe, we'll be able to recreate everything, keep all your ballots safe. So I appreciate that opportunity out there, but for those that haven't been out there, please come on out. We had a good ribbon cutting, and we've got a lot of positive comments about how much space we have, it being inside. A number of people will either be at the VA with Pat's group or community family and will come in and vote. So they're appreciative of that, of not having to come downtown. So that's a big positive for us.
The
I also
office
can't-
turned out beautiful.
There we go. So our budget summary, this is the year, we're one of the budgets that fluctuate greatly based on what election year we're dealing with. Last budget was the city and school, which is reimbursed by the city and schools. This budget is focused more on the general election for November, so that's where the costs really go up. But we also had an election at the end of this year, December 30th, that the county is required to pay for with the death of Senator Claire Celsey. The county paid for that successful election, which was just held a couple weeks ago. Our revenue, that's the big drop will be that. The personnel services, that's almost a fixed cost with the cost of living and different items like that. And some of our changes, you'll see the revenue decrease is the municipal election, that's city and schools. How we're funding our 1% is through the payment plus rebates. That's a rebate that we get when people are paid with the U.S. bank card as opposed to getting a paper check. Vendors like FedEx prefer having the credit card payment as opposed to getting a paper check, and we get a rebate back from U.S. Bank. So that's, we think we'll be able to fund all of our 1% based on that. If not, we'll find other ways to do it without affecting taxpayers. We also think that we'll have another 22,000 unclaimed fees. Those are checks that don't get cashed over the course of time. We're exempted from the Great Iowa Treasure Hunt, so that actually will flow back into the county. And then we think there'll be 1,000 less in just adjustments in general. Our expense, again, personal services, the increase for that. There's a maintenance fee. We got new voting equipment last fiscal year. We were able to use that, and much like anything, in the first year it's always free. The second year there's going to be the maintenance agreements. Along with these equipment, we also have the QR codes to upload our unofficial results. The state now bans using modems, which we used for 20 years. They're the phone modems, similar to how you do your banking. The unofficial results coming with the QR code is a great thing. We're the first, I believe, in the nation, if not the world, to upload our results unofficially with the QR code. We've done it now for 3 or 4 elections. We're very, very excited about it. It's a lot easier for our poll workers who work 15 hours a day at the end of the night, as opposed to pushing a bunch of buttons. They just have to get the QR code. It's a one-time use, and we're pretty excited about that. We also have a number of different, just accounting fees. The actuarial services went up a little bit, along with the decision package, which we put on here, which would be increasing the poll worker pay. A number of counties around us have increased the pay, so that'll be decision package. We're not building that in. That'll be something you guys can think about, and maybe we do it, maybe you decide not to do it.
Jamie, how much are they paid an hour now approximately?
The lowest is $15 an hour. The highest, I believe, is 18.
That's what currently they're.
Current, yes.
Okay.
And what's the increase?
Pardon? It would be $1.
$1.
$1 per both sides. The chair gets a little bit more because they have to do a little more training, a lot more responsibility. They have to bring down all the equipment. They have to bring down the no ink the no ink computers that we use to check you in. We don't want those sitting out, so they have to bring those down election night along with the ballots. So they have a lot more responsibility. So that's why the $3 difference. In terms of our full-time positions, we have had some changes. We had 3 people retire last year. One individual that was over 20 years decided they wanted to change. And then we had an individual that decided to be an at-home parent. So much like everyone else, it's ups and downs. I mean, sometimes you get a job and it's not for you. But the last year hit us a lot with retirements. Sandy and Erica replaced 2 people that were here for over 20 years, along with one of our election staff that was here well over 20 years. So you're going to have that from time to time. Some of our recent accomplishments. The Government Finance Officers Association gives out an Excellence in Financial Reporting Award. Our Central Accounting has won that for 30 years in a row. That shows that we're saying what the bottom line actually is. There's no, sleight of hand. They go through our comprehensive annual financial report to make sure that it works with what their standards are. And for 30+ years now, we've got this award. We successfully moved the election office. That was a little bit bigger lift than we thought it was going to be in terms of mail, in terms of changing everything out. But we were able to do that and had a couple really successful elections. We also, speaking of that, the city and school, we had a constant flow of voters coming in. Again, thanking everybody. A lot of them took pictures on the selfie walls. We have 2 of them that say Polk County. I voted, and John Cahill and the communications team helped design that, and those have been really successful. We increased our U.S. Bank credit card rebate program to over $100,000 in revenue. We implemented a new software to help streamline the annual audit every year, which we're always up against the wall. This will be the first year we're doing 2 systems. Next year we hope to only do 1. And we also worked with the board to streamline the agenda management. Supervisor McCoy talked about that at the last meeting. So it's been successful for us, and we appreciate the opportunity. Some upcoming opportunities we have, continue to roll out the P-card purchasing program. Again, it's like a credit card. Stress test and review all of our policies and procedures. Over the course of time, some things with technology change. So we're looking at some of those opportunities to send our employees to a higher level of work as opposed to a lot of the things that just happen tediously. We'd also like to continue to digitize all of our property transactions. We've done a fairly good job of that, but it's been an ongoing process. As our staff in the tax department have time, they upload those. So it's not anything that we're asking for additional funding for or additional staff. This is just something we're doing to try to help the taxpayers, to keep people from having to come down here to look at stuff. It is online. And then long term, we're going to have to, much like everywhere else, start investigating AI. It's here to stay, and to see if we can't have staff focus on some of the tougher issues as opposed to some of the things that AI could accomplish for us. We don't know what those are yet, but that's one of our long-term goals to look at that. Along with working a little bit more collaboratively with the departments and other elected officials on some of their accounting functions to make sure everything's as seamless and streamlined as possible. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Questions for Jamie?
I have a small one. When we were at the ribbon cutting, you and I talked about, at that point, the advantage of a timestamp Dropbox.
Sure.
Now you've run a couple different elections. Do you think that that is something that you're going to continue wanting to look into, or did you decide that that wasn't a need at this time?
So Polk County actually has a Dropbox. They're not required by law, but if you have it, you have to, you use it, you have to check it multiple times a day. What Supervisor Altering and I found out was there's actually one that you can put it in that timestamps when the ballot goes in. They all have security cameras on them. We have looked at it, we've got pricing for it, but a lot of, like everything else in government, in local government especially, we're waiting to see what the legislature does. There's been a push to get rid of drop boxes, because not every county does them. We've only done them for 3 or 4 years here, but we want to get through to see what's going to happen. This is an election year for everybody, so it may not happen, but we want to make sure the talk doesn't get too hot where we invest taxpayer dollars into this, then have to take it out. So that's what we're waiting on.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to say, Jamie, you've got a difficult job trying to run clean and fair elections, and in today's climate, that's not an easy thing to do, and appreciate the fact that I think most residents of Polk County that participate in either voting through your office or in special elections have a good feel for the process and the fairness of it all, and the job you do to try to communicate day in and day out. So we appreciate your work in that process.
Thank you very much.
This is a very responsible budget. One thing I don't think you mentioned is Auditor Fitzgerald and his staff helped us work on our purchasing practices and identifying especially reoccurring, like office supplies across the county, that we were able to find less expensive alternatives. So it's not reflected in their budget, but it is reflected in every budget, that we will realize a cost savings from identifying those. The only recommendation I have is just to work through the HR position review process so we're consistent, to look at comps and make sure that there's not an unintended negative impact on some of the contracted labor positions. Otherwise, I would recommend it as presented.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, that concludes our budget hearing for today, and thank you, everybody, for participating. I think working with the iPads is much preferred over the notebooks, and so appreciate the work that our staff has put into streamlining that process as well, and it saves a lot of paper and ink. So thank you all.